Dwayne,
Yeah.
what you think about Austin?
This is awesome. Going to college here.
You going to college?
I love Buckeye Nation since I was 8, 9, 10 years old. So to receive that ovation from them, to know how much they value me as a player, and to know that how much work I put in just to be in the spot, just to go to school here, I'm really just blessed.
And where did Simba come from?
So growing up, I had the big afro. So my aunt would comb my hair like, yeah, you look like a lion. Like, well, I like Simba. Like, we'll call you Simba now. So there's that, and then there's the story behind him growing to be king and going through adversity, and then, you know, having to fall to get up. And that's just something that I feel like resonates with my story, because, you know, everyone sees the highs of everything, but not what it took to get there. So that's just why I like that a lot.
Dwayne Haskins died Saturday at the age of 24 in an automobile accident in South Florida. It was just one of those moments that pops through everyone's bubble who pays any attention to football. It's a tragedy. It's unimaginable for his family. He was younger than my son. I kept thinking about that all day. I spent the day with my son, which is rare when your child is 25. We had a family outing to go visit our new great-nephew, so I was around my son all day, so it was a constant reminder. Dwayne Haskins was younger than my son, and I can't imagine what his parents must be feeling. I can't imagine what his friends, his family, his teammates must be feeling, but it was a stunner. And there aren't a whole lot of words, Chris, but I wanted to start the show with it today because it was something that I don't think could wait. It needed to be addressed. It's a horrible situation for the NFL, and anyone who follows the league, pays attention to the league. It was a shock that a lot of people are still going to be processing as the week unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, no question. Yeah, one of those, moments you have, every so often where it's just you hear news and your heart sinks and you just got a pit in your stomach to go, oh my gosh, how could that happen? It just that's the first thing you wonder. Wait, the first thing I thought of was Dwayne Haskins with just that, the baby face, that perfect smile he has. I really did. Thinking, man, he just seemed like such a good kid. And then you go in through, how does that even happen? How do you get hit by a car? Oh, my gosh. So young, so much life in front of him. A kid that got some Jersey roots. Of course, that hit home with me as well, being from New Jersey as well. So all of it, it's just, it's as a father, as an ex-football player, as a friend and a human being. It's one of those, when it hits you, you look at the phone, you look up, and you just go like, oh, my gosh. And then you tell your wife, that's what I did, Danielle. I was like, Danielle, Dwayne Haskins died. Like, and just it was just like, what? How? And, then it just it takes over your life for a little while. So it's a shame. And R.I.P. to him. And, thoughts and prayers go out to his family for sure.
We're on our way to Columbus. It's about a 3-hour drive, and stopped to get gas before we pulled out of town and got back in the car, and somebody from another team had texted me that there was chatter that someone from the Steelers had died on Friday night. And I had to drive. I wasn't going to try to figure it out. I told my son, and I don't know, within 10 minutes, he just kind of blurted out, oh, my God, it was Dwayne Haskins. And
yeah, it's
one of those things that you're never going to forget, the moment, the circumstances, the weekend, the reaction. It's a confusing situation. He was on Interstate 595. Police say he was attempting to cross westbound lanes, and there was oncoming traffic, and he was struck by a dump truck. And it's just horrible to think about his final moments. And we got to see the reaction play out on Saturday and Sunday. A lot of poignant statements from teammates, coaches. Chase Claypool's comment, I think, really, for whatever reason, spoke to me. It was very simple. It was very short, but it just kind of reached into my chest and pulled my heart out. I spent your final moments with you, and I can't help but think about how selfless you were in those moments. All you cared about was making sure that everyone around you was okay, and I can't thank you enough for that. You are what I strive to be. And just because we didn't see Dwayne Haskins play much last year, if at all, other than in the preseason, that he was a part of that team. He was part of the present and potentially part of the future for the Steelers. He was working, he was developing, and he was their teammate, he was their friend. And regardless of what line of work he was in, anytime something like this happens and we see a life end with so much still in front of it, that's what That's what hurts. And we're experiencing it because it's happening within the broader bubble of what we do and what we cover. These tragedies happen all the time, all walks of life, all industries, all across the country. But when it's kind of close to you, that's when it hits home. And for football fans, for Steelers fans, for anyone who follows the NFL and remembers he was 15th pick in the draft in 2019, a recognizable name, instantly recognizable name. It just throws you for a loop. It knocks you off balance. And I've spent 2 days trying to process it, and I didn't know. I don't remember whether or not we interviewed him in the run-up to the 2019 draft because we talked to so many different of these guys coming into the process. I'm not sure that we did.
No.
I remember we met with Kyler Murray at the Super Bowl that year, but it's just one of those things where it takes time for everyone to process, and for his family, no amount of time is going to make it right. That's what I keep coming back to. That video that we played at the top, I must have watched that thing 5,000 times on Saturday night. I was hypnotized by it because it was 2008. He had just turned 11, and it just full of wonder and magic, and he's in the Ohio State locker room. This is awesome. I'm going to go to college here, and he did. And it's just a strange couple of days, and I keep thinking about his family. I keep thinking about his teammates, and hopefully they'll all find peace eventually, somehow, some way. The most peace that they possibly can find, because I'm not sure that you find total peace after something like this happens.
Yeah, it's gut-wrenching. I mean, it tears your heart out with stories like this. A young kid, again, $1 million smile. You know he's got a good heart and a good way about him. Living in, even though his football career wasn't like going exactly how he wanted, still living a great life, and like, wow, there's so much potential for life in front of you. There was all of that. We know the kid had, big time talent coming out of Ohio State, and even last year during training camp, we talked about Mike. Like, remember, man, Dwayne Haskins looks good. Maybe this is the right move for him. Wow, his arm. I mean, there was a lot of special things to talk about. It's hard to process it, especially with somebody that young. I think me as a father, and not that I have anybody that age, but I have a 15-year-old, and you get to that range like you're talking about with your son at that age, it hits you hard, because you just realize how fragile life is, and how much he'll be missed, how much of life he's going to miss. And then I think what adds to it is, like, we know a smart young kid down there working in Florida, doing all these things, but the story itself, I think, is what makes it hard to process as well. I think that's the other thing on top of it, because I don't know if anything came out more in the last 24 hours, but I've been there in that area, right, where he's crossing the highway near Fort Lauderdale Airport. I mean, I just can't help to think, too, like, what was going on? Why were they crossing the highway? What the hell was going on, too? And I think that's what makes it even worse, is just the unknown about the events that led up to it, let alone the horror and the tragedy that happened, eventually there. That's where it still is, like, confusing, I think, to all of us.
Yeah, it gets thrown into that overall bucket of just
anxiousness
about this,
angst, whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. The fact that he's gone is tragic enough, and then you have this confusing set of circumstances that gets added to it, and it makes it harder to process because you feel like there's still more out there that we're waiting to find out, and there may be answers that we never get. It may just be that's what it is, and everyone has to try to move forward, picking up the pieces.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.